Hello and welcome everyone to a brand new season of JaaTaa. I say brand new because it's obviously exaggerated. We had the season and the season finale for our first season only last week, and here we are with the second season. As always, joining me today is Fardin Kibria and Sabir Hossain Chagor. Welcome, boys.
Boys.
So, boys, we have to talk about it. Horrendous, absolutely
Horrendous.
horrendous start for Bangladesh in the Test series. I say start, but we're basically halfway done, and there is no momentum going into the second Test. We basically lost the series.
Yeah, I mean, once you essentially lose by 330 runs to start off the series, you don't really have much to go off of for the rest of the series. And yeah, Bangladesh was never in the game really with the bat, which is what we talked about, last episode, that Bangladesh's most biggest challenge would have been, how they face up against Sri Lanka's bowling attack and how many runs they can put on the board, no matter if they're batting first or bowling first. But obviously that didn't happen, and there were some good spots with the bowling lineup there. But obviously, once you have three pacers and your spinner isn't really doing much, it's very hard to restrict the opposition and you know um, unfortunately, that's been the story of Bangladesh cricket for a while, and it hasn't really changed stepping into a new year.
Shagor, it feels like we let the game slip away during that partnership on day one between Dhananjay De Silva and Kamindo Mendes. How easily were the bowlers just baffled by their, pseudo aggressive approach?
Yeah, it seemed like the bowlers didn't have any clue as to, you know, what they were trying to do. And I don't think there was any set plan, like any setups as to get a particular batsman out. Like, 2, 3 overs of consistent bowling in some area and then surprising him with a bouncer or something like that. Or setting leg side heavy fields what the bouncers, ninth runner could have done. Like something different. So, they just let things slip away, let the game go with the flow, and they seem like they're waiting for, the batsman to make a mistake while going for their shots, which credit to the Lankan batsmen, they did not, the Kamindu Mendes and Tanjati Silva. So, yeah, I think some creativity was lacking there in the bowling department.
A poor showing on Shanto's part, Fardin, or do you think that was just the bowlers not applying their skills?
No, I think captaincy was below par too, honestly. One of the things that we talked about on our last episode was how you have to be kind of innovative in a test match where things are not happening. You have to innovate with the fields you set, you have to innovate with the bowling changes you make. And sometimes that also means, bringing different bowlers into the attack and stuff like that. Or if you think about Pakistan Australia series, how they got Steve Smith out, putting three covered fielders. These are things that you do outside of the box where it makes the batter think, how am I going to counter this? We set pretty generic fields. We really didn't push the opposition in any way to make mistakes. And as a captain, if you're not forcing the opposition to make mistakes, your bowlers are obviously venomless as it is, but even if as a captain you're not setting interesting fields or guys are not receptive to set interesting fields, you are looking down the barrel of defeat. So yeah.
Shagor, we spoke about it on our Facebook Live as well. Again, the batters showing zero application in the first innings, and somehow it felt like to them this target of 288 is just too big all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was, to be honest, it was seeming like Bangladeshi top order batsmen were batting on a completely different pitch and facing like world class bowlers. No offense to Sri Lankan bowlers, they're really good with the line and lengths.
Yeah.
But uh, the top order of Bangladesh made it seem like it was prime Megra and Bradley going steaming in and getting those wickets.
Yeah.
And mostly the wickets, if you see the top four batsmen, they are not sure about the off stump. I know Fardin talked in detail in the last episode of JaaTaa about this. You have to know where off stump is, especially in Test match cricket. what it causes is, you're uncertain and you poke balls that, could have been easily left. So that's
Yeah.
what caused the most problems for the top order. And there's a big area of concern because if we produce pitch which is not, ranked turners, the bowlers will get some purchase, the pacers, and we will throw our wickets.
Yeah.
And as we have seen, if we don't have experienced guys in the middle like Mushfiq and Saqib, like Shakib Al Hasan, the middle order crumbles.
Yeah.
So this is a very, you know, important point to be noted for the Bangladesh management.
The thing is, you think about these guys, Shakib, Mushfiq, they pretty much grew their game through learning in international cricket. But cricket, Bangladesh cricket, or the cricket fraternity as a whole, is not at a position now to have another 10 guys come in and learn to play cricket at international cricket level. Because if
The
we
game
do
has
that,
moved too quickly, right? The
yeah,
game has
yeah, the
moved on.
game has moved quicker than anyone anticipated. And if we have a thinking that we are gonna do that, where six guys are gonna come and learn how to play cricket in international cricket, you might as well be writing off another 25 years, because it's not gonna happen. And like Shagur said, most of these guys are getting beaten by almost nothing deliveries. They're getting beaten. It's You can't blame the pitch, because both teams batted on it. One team batted like they've been playing on this pitch for their whole life. The other team batted like they've never seen something like this. Whereas the other team is the home team. And if you're not applying yourselves, where you don't even know which ones to leave and which ones to play at, it's not good enough. And you can't. And I mean, Mehdi Hasan Miraj, honestly, tired of his excuses. Absolutely tired. Like, what is this white ball, red ball excuse now you're coming up with?
No, I mean, I get that they actually haven't played any red ball cricket
Yeah,
for a
but
good 5 months or something, but at this level, you
that's
cannot come up with
that's
these
that's
excuses.
modern day cricket. You have to be ready to chop and change between formats, because you are not at a position like Australia to play 3 rounds of Sheffield Shield before the home summer, because you naturally don't even have a home summer or anything. You play matches whenever they're scheduled. So either you play or you don't. So someone like Naeem Hassan, is he gonna are you gonna hear him complain about not playing enough red ball cricket? Probably not, because he's played the home season when the NCL happened. So should he be playing ahead of Miraj in this situation? Maybe,
And
right?
the whole discussion now that we are on the topic, the whole discussion becomes something, and not to be too harsh, but at this point, if that's Miraj's excuse, he
Yeah,
might as well ask BCB to write a letter to ICC and ask them to remove Bangladesh entirely from the World Test Championship, because the whole point
yeah,
of the World Test Championship is you're going to have frequent series every now and then, and you're
yeah.
going to have to accommodate for those series. You're not
If
just,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not going to be after every NCL, and even if it is after an NCL, do you play every NCL?
yeah,
Does
yeah.
someone like Miraj
When the
play every
NCL,
NCL?
yeah, when NCL is going on, you guys are at home chilling, or you're at some other series somewhere,
And we're not
or
blaming you for that, like not blaming you for playing some other series, but it
no.
is what
But
it
yeah,
is,
yeah.
right?
But at that time, you're not playing NCL, and then you're gonna complain we're not playing enough Test series. Well, you can't have best of the both worlds. It's not gonna happen. So you gotta choose one or the other. But rightly said, I think I, I personally hate seeing because when Shakib, Tamim, Mushfiq, Mahmudullah were 25, 26 years old, they weren't making excuses like this, right? They either took it by the chin. If they did shit, they accepted they did shit. They moved on, right? But you have this guy 8 years ago, next big thing, etc., etc., supposed to be the replacement for Shakib Al Hasan. But when Shakib, Tamim, Mushfiq are not playing, apparently he has no idea what to do, or he comes up with like these random things to say on the social media, which are just to media, which just seems absurd, because you can't expect someone from another country to speak like this, right? But and like not to get too deep into this, obviously, but I think that it shows where our mentality is as a team. And like we discussed on the last episode, our mentality is so far gone that now your priority might as well be to bring back that mentality, that winning mentality. And maybe you have to find guys who have the right mentality, because if you don't, then like I said, might as well write off 25 more years from your cricket.
Shagor, another thing, another, whole mindset mentality thing, if you will. In this sort of a moderate, low scoring match, we concede what, a 92-run lead in the first innings. If you think about it, in the context of modern day test cricket, 92 runs isn't a lot. In context of any test cricket for that matter,
Yeah,
92 runs isn't some mountain that you cannot climb, isn't uh, your opponent out batting you from the game.
yeah,
Yet we treat it as such. The moment we saw that 92 runs, we knew that this was over, and the players' attitude suggested that.
yeah,
How do we get over this?
I think it all comes down to uh, getting those experiences in red ball cricket, but also growing that mentality. I would like to say, I would like to term it as Australian mentality. So Australia, even if the opposition outbatted them theoretically, they never give up. I think in one of the interviews of the Australian team players, they mentioned this a lot, that whatever the situation is, they never give up. They know that there's a chance, even if it's that 1% chance, they
yeah,
go for it.
yeah,
So that's the mentality that we have to nurture, that we have to grow up with. I think it has to start at the junior level, because Bangladeshi DNA, we cannot close out games.
yeah,
And from that stems this point that first innings 92 run deficit, it seems like 300-run deficit.
yeah,
Also from there, we actually came back in the game somewhat, like 112 for 5.
yeah,
There was a chance of chasing something well below 300,
yeah.
which we might not have chased, but
But it gives you a better chance. Yeah,
yeah, it gives you better
yeah,
chance, and you never know, right? And
yeah,
also the pitch was very good, which,
yeah,
so there's no excuse of this 92 run deficit seeming like a mountain to climb.
yeah,
So it's just that mentality, I think, because I think the players are not that less skilled that they'll get bowled out for 180 twice. Like, there's some good players, good skill
this
out there in
is
those players. It's just in the mentality, it's just the headspace. And this, you can see the portrayal by Liton Das first innings dismissal. Player with so much class, so much potential, so much talent plays that shot. I think that
second
sums
innings,
that
second
sums
innings.
up the whole batting lineup's
Yeah,
attitude towards being on the back foot.
And Fatin, here's the thing. As Shago rightly pointed out, we had come back into the game. It was what, at one point we got them six down for maybe 140, 134, something
mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that means Bangladesh are back in the game. Shagor mentioned during the Facebook Live that anything below 215, Bangladesh do realistically have a chance.
Yeah,
Did that message, was a similar message ever delivered to the players? Because they let it slip away from them just the same exact way they let it slip away in the first innings. How ridiculous is that? The same partnership, same two batters.
yeah. I mean, this was what I think maybe the fifth occurrence of same two guys scoring 100
Third,
in
I
Third,
believe.
third
or
and fourth, third
third
and
or fourth.
fourth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
third. So that tells you how less it has happened. How often do you see two
and
guys?
the three
Yeah,
second, third, and fourth occurrences all happened against Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, obviously, because we don't learn from it, right? But here's the thing: as a bowling group, you get outclassed by two guys completely, right? Can happen. But as a bowling group, as a captain, what have you done after that innings to sit down and talk amongst yourself and think, okay, this is what we need to do to get these guys out? Dhananjaya De Silva, we've wrote about it on our page, has a good technique, has a good base on him. So for you to beat him is not gonna be any nothing delivery that's gonna take his wicket. You are gonna have to set him up in some way, and that might be a short ball trap. That might be a body line trap. That might be something again with a reverse swing trap. It could be anything. Kamindu Mendes, his first ball in the first innings, he was dropped at slip. That shows a weakness that you can exploit, possibly, right? Who's the guy? What troubled him in that? It doesn't mean it's gonna happen every time, but it's a plan that you can set. Why do people like even Joe Root start bowling short balls to someone like a Shreyas Iyer? Everyone knows he has a short bomb problem, right? And it becomes a mental thing for a player, right? Like I can speak about it myself. For me, I had a massive in swing problem where I was getting bowled on in swingers. For me, even though I knew I could do it before, because I was getting out so many times, you start believing that oh, anytime an in swinger comes, I'm gonna get out. That's your way to take these wickets. But there was no communication, and like we talked about it, there was no field setting. I don't know why we have so many batting coach, bowling coach, head coach, etc., etc. If guys are not setting up fields, Ashish Nehra is doing a better job by himself from the sidelines at Gujarat Titans, and like these are things that I actually cannot understand because how have you let two guys score 200s in 2 innings? The same guys.
Alvi, could we just make that excuse that they were reading the pitch and handling the bowlers better than anyone else? That's why they got those 2 centuries. That's the only excuse we could possibly come up with.
I don't think you can blame it on the pitch because the pitch was the same for all 4 innings. It's more about how you approach the batsman. If you look at the first four batsmen in the first innings, and then you look at the last, I'd say four again. The first four and the last four did nothing. It was the same two guys who scored the runs both times. So I think beyond them sort of reading the pitch or reading the game, I think it has more to do with us not being able to read them, because the way that we're bowling to them, basically with zero plan, they've seen that there is no pattern to our bowling. It's sort of just what we say in Allah Name Chhadatlam. As fast as we can do it. And the issue there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
if you don't have a plan of attack, if you're not setting these guys up, look, these guys are going to make mistakes so many times. You can't expect them to make mistakes all the time. So when the batsmen aren't making mistakes, it's up to you to make the play. You have to, lull them into a shot. And if you're not doing that, what are the head coach, the bowling coach, what are they doing? Like, why are they even there in the first place? Forget the players. Let's say because we don't play enough red ball cricket at home. We don't have that sort of a mindset you need to play red ball cricket. So even if the players aren't, fed a diet of red ball cricket growing up, that's why we have the big money coaches. That's why you have these guys to set the game plans. I saw this video of Ashish Nehra this morning where he was speaking to somebody at an interview where this guy is basically, so this is sort of off topic. He went from using a Nokia E51, which is basically a button phone, to an iPhone 7 because his wife gifted him one, and the only thing he knows how to do is to call on the phone. That's all he knows how to do. So somebody commented, this guy has been running on a brick phone and coconut water and pen and paper running an IPL team. This guy with zero resources and nothing but his brain and game sense is getting a team, winning trophies in their first season. And you've got all these analysts, all these guys, head coach and everything, who
yeah,
can set up a trap.
yeah,
Why are they here?
yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Straight, straight.
Shakor, again, last innings, the batters just gave up. Zero application from them. Zakir, we were expecting something from Zakir, and he kind of got off to a start. We know that he's really good in wherever he's batting a second time in a test match.
Yeah.
Uh, Anything that you want to say about the top order?
I think, yeah, good that you mentioned Zakir, but the thing is, he being an opening batsman and he knows that he is the one that the team is relying on to get the runs because he has been performing in domestic circuit as well. So back-to-back innings, him only making 10, 19, 20, that's not it. Given the state of the pitch, there was no demons on the pitch, as Taijul and Mominul showed, right?
Hmm.
Even the Sri Lankan lower order batters batted better than our top order batters. So, having said that, I don't think there was any difference between our first innings and the second innings, especially the top four, top five. Apart from Mominul, no one showed any application in the second innings.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to go back and say just two things. First, I would like to say about the our frailties with the outside of stump channels, and
Yeah.
secondly the mentality. It all
Yeah.
goes back to those two things. The head space was not there to just stay on the crease. The dismissals, if you look at them, the bowling was good, but most of them could have been avoided. So yeah, I think work needs to be done, and then the pep talk needs to be done on how to be mentally strong, because even 400 runs, if we're chasing 400, we should have the mentality to chase that down, even though we know that it might not be possible, right? But we
Yeah.
can get close on this pitch. 300, 350, we could have gotten there.
Yeah.
500 maybe not, but yeah. So the mentality needs to be there in order to stay at the crease.
We have to talk about this now. Liton Das, the batter, Liton Das, the wicket keeper, Liton Das, the cricketer in general, did not look like he wanted to be in Sylhet that day or throughout those 4 days.
Throughout. Yeah. Yeah.
He just did not look like that.
He was
And
not in the game even
he was
while
just not in
keeping.
the game. And even our board president spoke about it later, and he said that Liton is a great player and whatnot, but the only reason we didn't drop him from the test is just because he has stats to back him. Otherwise, we were fully intended on dropping him from the test series as well. And that is after Liton's coach goes out of his way and makes that statement that, they shouldn't have dropped Liton. Liton himself goes on and tries to say that they shouldn't have dropped him, only for him to look like he didn't want to be there. What do we do with
What
this?
what message does it send to Liton for the second test if he's picked in the 11, that the president is saying he would have been dropped from the squad?
I mean, if if I was in his position, I would be like, this is my last chance ever to do something, because I've run everyone's patience thin, right? He's gone from being vice captain everywhere to captain to basically not even in leadership contention. He's gone from basically being a sheer shot in white ball cricket, especially as opener, to not being even considered anymore. To even, I mean, I would go as far as saying he's at a risk of missing the T20 World Cup. Whereas 6 months ago, he probably looked like he was confirmed to play the T20 World Cup. Um, and then you think about this test match. I'm sorry, after 10 years, if you can't apply yourself to the simple situation, and the fact that almost every media outlet, almost every person out there has called this the worst shot in test history, tells you how bad it was. A middle order batter, someone who's played 10 years. If Shahadat Hossain Deepu came out and did that in his second or third test, I could still understand that maybe nerves or something got the better of him. He tried to put the attack back on the opposition, etc., etc. 10 years, 10 years, essentially undisputedly being picked, freaking given every rope that is possible, long, short, whatever is out there, right? Like, I'm sorry, I have not seen anyone get so many chances since Shakib Al Hasan and Tamim Iqbal and Mushfiqur Rahim. Especially Mushfiqur Rahim couldn't score a run till like 2012. So the fact that you're still been given this many chances, 10 years on, you come out and do that, absurd. Because now then, I mean, all these talks and stuff that you did in the social media, to the media, charging people, media personnel, all of it just looks even more foolish when you can't back it up in the field.
Uh, Alvi, your take on this whole Liton situation?
I think he's showing his anger towards the team management for not picking him in the third ODI. I think it's sort of a if you don't think I'm
Retaliation.
good enough, yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you don't think I'm good enough, what, like there's a saying, if somebody hates you for no reason, give them a reason to hate you. So if they're like,
yeah.
oh, if you don't think I'm not good enough, I guess then I'm not good enough. And so he comes out on the last innings and he's like, okay, we're already four down. We've already lost the game. I can't be bothered to save the game because I know if I bat for half an hour and I edge one or I chop one on, we'll lose the game anyways. And I'll be criticized for playing, let's say, 40, 50 balls and scoring 2, 3 runs. So might as well just go for it. See if I can, get away with a counter attack on an outside chance. If not, I mean, we're losing anyways. It's everybody's fault. He can still go around and say, oh, I scored the second highest runs in the first innings. And so it's sort of,
After Tajul
for
Islam.
him, yeah. So for him, it's sort of in his mind, it's a win-win because
Yeah.
he's getting back at the board. He scored the second highest runs in the first innings, and he gets away scot-free because everybody else failed except for Mominul. So he sees as a zero consequence event. But for us, because we've got all that sort of frustration pent up from the past, let's say 6, 7, 8 months, or even 10 years for some of us like Ivria, uh, you can't
I,
really you can't really see a way out that helps Sliton in any way. For him,
yeah,
he couldn't care less at this point. He knows, he's taking it for granted. He knows he's, untouchable. So
yeah.
Shagor, even after all of that, you've spoken about Liton getting dropped and everything. Even after all of that, Zakir is still the only keeper in the squad for the second test, which means the only way we do drop Liton is if Zakir is demoted down to the middle order. Not because of his batting, but more so that
Mhm.
we can accommodate Zakir, the keeper, into the 11, basically.
Yeah, actually, there lies the bigger issue in our Bangladesh cricket, right? We don't have the
Also, just to add, of course, Shakib Al Hasan is going to be in the 11 as well. So we basically have to make space for him as well.
yeah, we don't really have anyone, like you see in Australia's Sheffield Shield or India, right?
Yeah.
Given that our population is so high, it's very surprising we don't have people,
Ready to come
knocking,
in.
not even
Yeah.
knocking on the door, like smashing the door down,
Yeah.
saying just pick me, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big concern for us. And yeah, like only now that we're seeing the new crop of fast bowlers coming in, right? So that fast bowling issue is somewhat taken care of. But now, as you mentioned, there's no real solution to this Liton Das as a keeper in Test match problem. So yeah, and
Vijay,
we've
Vijay,
talked Vijay, yeah, we've talked off air about it about if Zakir takes over the gloves, we lose out on an opener, which is not his position to bat, like outside
Mhm.
being an opener or top three batter.
Mhm.
So I don't think that's a good balance for the team or for himself. So yeah, this either Leighton has to get his shit right, or you have to play a completely new batsman, wicketkeeper batsman like Onkon or someone who is not really tested even at the
Yeah.
domestic scene. So it's a big call today.
Fardin, take a gamble on Jakir's newfound confidence and just throw him the gloves.
Why not?
You're not doing that, but
Yeah.
let's talk
Yeah.
seriously.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, why not? Because he's played first class cricket for a while. He's obviously has some confidence behind him from white ball cricket, and it's almost like it's taking a punt, but it's a punt that might work out because he will come in with no pressure, almost no expectations, and he can just go about his business kind of. Because with Onkon and him, I think they're at a stage now where they're thinking we're pretty much second, third string in case one
Mhm.
of these guys get injured. But now they're starting to realize, oh, these guys aren't actually set because none of them are performing. So you throw one of them a lifeline here and you tell them, you got one test, two tests, whatever, make a case for yourself. Never know how it works out, right? But and I think like we said, during the first innings when Bangladesh was in trouble, and we were talking amongst ourselves that for Bangladesh, their defense game is not going to take them far. So for them, they have to put the pressure back on the opposition. And guys like Jakir can do that, where they can put the op- opposition under pressure a little. Because honestly, Bangladesh defense, like if guys already don't know where their off stump is or the fourth stump is, a blockathon is not going to help them at all.
But are we suddenly a good enough side to say that we're not going to play defensively in tests and we're just going to attack and attack and attack the opponents out of the game? Sort of what started
Yeah.
basketball, basically. Are we good enough to do that right now?
No, no, I don't even think Bangladesh can risk attacking fully because 90% of the guys, look at Litton Dash, walk down the track, just put it up, left. What they have to do is look to score 3-4 runs and over. Because once there are guys around the bat, there's guys around the pad, people breathing down on your neck, Bangladesh batters start getting fidgety. They're starting getting scared. Whereas if you're pushing runs, if you're pushing single, double almost every over, opposition can't risk bringing in close fielders because they're gonna think these singles and doubles will become threes and fours, and I'm gonna start leaking more runs. So I have to spread out my field a little more. And with Test cricket, your only restriction is you can't put more than two guys behind square. So you can fill it up everywhere else in the field. So and if we're talking about it here, I don't know why they're not thinking about it there because that's where that chinking should be happening, right? So yeah,
I think the easiest fix for us and with our sort of betting approach would be, look, we're not going to get anywhere defending all the time because our defense isn't that strong anyways. We're going to be, nicking everything off the slips and whatnot.
yeah,
I think the easiest fix is sort of park the bus until you get to 100. Get to 100 for, one or let's say two wickets. We know Bangladesh, you're not going to get there for no run, no loss. Get
yeah,
to 100 for, let's say, two wickets on a good day,
yeah.
and then sort of take the attack to them. If you can score 150 runs quickly,
Mhm.
there's your 250. Even if it is 250 all out, at least you have a foundation of 100 runs, let's say, and then you
Yeah,
attack, sort of baseball style. You get
yeah,
to 250 or whatever you can get to. Forget the big scores because we don't have that, sort of resilience or that sort of game where you can bat 2 3 days and get to 150 or 200 per
absolutely.
batsman.
Yeah,
So you get to
absolutely.
100, you play defensive, and then you hit your way out, get to 250, 260, if you're lucky, 300. That way, what you're doing is, if you finish the innings attacking, sort of like death, not death
Mhm.
overs, let's say you finish at a higher momentum of scoring runs.
Yeah,
When you come into bowl, you might have some of the momentum left when you start bowling.
yeah,
Even if you get out for 250, 260 every single game, at least you're scoring 250 every single game as opposed to getting out for 160, 180, whatever. So
correct.
Bangladesh, we can't sort of play the AB de Villiers 40 of 200 innings. We can't play the AB de Villiers 100 of 30 balls. We need to break it down, get to 100 for two wickets, and then get to 150, and then whatever you get on top is bonus, and then sort of come out and bet. Even if it's a 3 day test match,
Yeah,
at least you're scoring 250s. At least you're getting to that 250 mark, whereas other times you're barely getting 200.
yeah,
Alfie, it's a very good point and a very good strategy that you mentioned, but here's my question. How does someone like Hathura Singh, and we know that he doesn't like those sort of strategies. He is more of, attack, attack, positive, positive cricket, intent and whatnot. How
yeah,
does someone like him communicate that to someone like Nazmul Hossain Shanto, who's captaining and playing all three formats? That okay, if there is a wicket early, which there will be inevitably, or even if you come out at 50 for one, I want you to play defensively for the first 30, 40, 50 balls, even though we've seen that that's not Shanto's natural game necessarily.
yeah,
Whoever is batting, so ideally what we're saying here is if we're expecting for them to be 100 for two, you're expecting up to number four. So whoever is batting within number four, they have to be told, look, until the team gets to 100, put it away. Put away your, fancy cover drives, put away your flicks and your edges and your fishing outside off stump. Just dead bat, defend the ball. If it takes 30, 40, 50 overs to get to 100, let it be. But just, you don't need runs. When you're
yeah.
getting to 100, you don't need runs. Just stay there, get to 100, even if that takes two sessions. And then when you're at 100, then whoever is there, then you unleash. Whoever is after you, go play a natural game, or even attack. What they say to us in our leagues is, when you go into bat, leave your eyes at the dressing room. Chok bondo kore, just hit the ball, go for it. So just swing. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
If you're going in, let's say for the Bangladesh team and the test team, if you're going in after 100, leave your eyes at the dressing room. Close your eyes and swing. You'll get to 100, 120, 130. You'll get beyond 200, I guarantee. So, and by the time it's 50 overs old,
Yeah.
what swing is there? What are you afraid of? So, it's I don't know how this stuff comes to us so easily, but when it comes to the team management, they're what are they? Are they
They're
blind?
not brave. In Bangladesh, they're not brave, right? These guys are not willing to take risks. They're not willing to explore outside the box or explore what they don't know. Sometimes it's literally finding out what you don't know. And you have to find out what you don't know in a tough way, or the best way to finding out what you don't know is to simulate match conditions in training. Put two guys behind square leg, and bowl a short ball tactic at Liton Dash and Tohid Hridoy and Sadat Hossein Dibu. See how they react to it.
This will hurt their ego. That's why we don't want to hurt their
Yeah,
ego.
exactly.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
that's
There
why
you go.
what do? We just do open nets and everyone do as you please.
On the concrete tracks, play your
Non
cover
concrete
drive, huh?
pitches, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then they'll go and they'll do their throwdowns on
And
concrete wickets at academic ground. If you are doing concrete wicket practice before game day, I am
Before a red ball
sorry,
game.
but if you are expecting to score runs the next day on a
Or that
wicket
very day sometimes.
or that very day, sometimes it is impossible. Literally close to impossible. The wicket will do things. The wicket will serve up something that you have not seen. A concrete wicket will not serve up anything to you other than coming straight at the bat and coming at pace.
And another way to answer Alvi's question is it's very easy to then blame the players. When you tell them to just play their natural game and not give them a better strategy, it's
Yeah,
easier to just, say that Shanto played a rash shot, which he did. Liton played a rash shot, which
yeah,
100% he did. Joy can't play deliveries outside the off stump, which we know now is a fact.
yeah,
It's easier to not work on these things and just let them make these mistakes. So that end of the day, it's the player's fault, right? The team management is there today. They're not going to be there the next day. We're going to have a new set of coaches, and before they realize what to do, they're gone. So it's much easier to just let the players make their own mistakes. One player that we have to talk about. So let's assume that Liton doesn't get the axe.
mhm,
That would mean that Shadat Hossein Deepu 100% has to make way for Shakib Al Hassan.
yeah,
When that happens, inevitably, or in the rare case that I mean, given what happened in the first test, I don't think Taijul is getting dropped, and we're probably not in a position to drop Miraj yet.
yeah. Given
Given
that
all of
Tajul
that,
actually scored some runs too.
given all of that,
Nahid run out Sakibin.
in Chattogram, no way. Had we been going to Mirpur, then yes, that would have 100% happened. But in Chattogram, no, not happening. But in all seriousness, again, Shadat Hossein Deepu, I can't even say that we're being harsh on him or the management is
Yeah,
being harsh on him by dropping him
yeah.
because he hasn't made a good case for himself. On the other hand, should we consider including Shadman at this point instead of Joy?
They're both equally bad. It doesn't really make a difference. Shadman, look, here's the thing. Look, this is where we are at fault as well. When the players are doing this bad, even we think whoever is not playing is going to be better. But in reality, it's going to be the same, I tell you. It's going to be no different. Shadman, Saif. I feel bad to say Saif in the same sentence as Shadman and Joy, but anyways, Shadman, Saif, Joy, they're all the same thing, unfortunately.
And that thing is, here's the thing with Shadman Islam. I just feel like him coming to Test cricket, he gets lost sometimes on what his role is. He's not lost about like the game. He's lost about, should I be pushing the scoreboard a little more, or should I just be playing the old dig in and hope it works out kind of a role? Because he's played what, maybe 10, 12 tests now. He averages mid 20s at best. So, like Alvi said, like you can expect all that you want, but for someone to still be averaging mid 20s, not really giving you much, and one of the things that he struggles with is a moving ball, and that ball was moving for his test. So that
Even like the only step up from joy that Shadman would be is he wouldn't be getting so many ducks. Like he might score two, three, four, five, 6, 7 runs, at best 10 runs. But hey, that's 10 more runs than a buck. So
The pragmatic realism that we're seeing with the Bangladesh cricket fans right now, and I say that because Shakib Al Hasan is returning to Test cricket, sorry, returning to international cricket after 5.5 months, and there is no excitement amongst the general audience. There is no sense of enthusiastic optimism that no,
yeah,
Shakib is coming back. The whole return of the king and whatnot.
yeah,
Other than his niche little fan base that's extremely devoted and loyal to whatever he does,
yeah.
there is really not much hype.
Sagar.
Have we reached a point where, this is a more realistic outlook on Bangladesh cricket as a whole?
Yeah, I think that's where we've kind of gone over the last 6, 7 months, right? Because once you take the World Cup for context, and how many people were looking forward to the World Cup, and how many people were looking forward to a possibility of something good happening at the World Cup, and then you come out and all it's become is drama, people backbiting, people going at each other, um, and then Bangladesh team as a whole just not performing at all. It just became, and yeah, this off-field stuff, just creating rivalries that don't exist, making new rivalries happen. Um, you know, honestly, like, you guys think Bangladesh has, I mean, as Bangladesh cricket, it has almost become a stage where we've pretty much become a meme to world cricket now.
Clown, clown.
Yeah. Why pointing at him? Is he a clown? Is he the clown? He's not the
100%.
clown.
Hey, Shagori the clown. Hey, basically what happened is when we sort of went into the World Cup with as big hopes as we did,
Yeah.
and then leading up to the World Cup, all the drama, the fiasco, remember me, this and that, all this sort of,
Yeah.
peripheral
Yeah.
stuff that is
Yeah.
away from the cricket,
Yeah.
it sort of left a bitter taste in people's mouth just before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then when we went into the World Cup, the only thing people were saying is if the drama didn't happen, if Tamim was here, if this happened, if that happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
this World Cup wouldn't have been that bad. And so the blame just went to Shakib directly because he sort of orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then his own performance, the team's performance, him flying back and forth, Liton flying back and forth. By the end of the fifth game, nobody really cared about the World Cup at that point anymore.
Yeah.
And so people, I wouldn't say it's like you said, have people become more realistic about cricket? No, I think people have just, yeah, they have become sort of realistic, but it's more, they now see how the players sort of see things, how the players don't really care, most of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
or even those who were at the World Cup at that point
Yeah.
sort of thought there's no way out, there's no point. So people are starting to get frustrated as well. If you look at the sponsor, the whole sponsor fiasco, we didn't have a sponsor for like what, 4 months. So it shows, people are losing faith. And if let's say the corporate houses, let's say Walton, Walton is the biggest advocate for cricket in Bangladesh. Walton has always been there for the DPL, the NCL, BCL, BPL, you name it, they have been there.
Yeah.
So I thought if there are no sponsors, if there's anybody who's going to step up, it has to be Walton.
Yeah.
Nothing from Walton. Even Roby came back with, I think Roby came back with an even smaller deal than 9 years ago when they were here in 2015. So
Yeah.
is the sort of net worth of cricket shrinking in Bangladesh? If it is you only know like there is only one group of people to blame. So you can't really say anything. I don't think it's the fans' fault. It's more the players who don't really value what they have, or even the cricket board.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums it up
Yeah.
perfectly. Like
Yeah.
there is no longer an incentive
Yeah.
to sponsor them. Like even if we're going to talk about the women's game now because they're playing a series against Australia.
Yeah.
They've had a sponsor from an international company, a multinational company that we do not support currently due to some other reasons. But just saying
Why
that it's
couldn't the
their
guys get
growth
that? Why
that's
couldn't the
getting
guys
them
get that exactly?
uh,
Yeah.
that sponsorship.
Insane.
It's just that that's what you get. That's you reap what you sow, and your quality of cricket, as Alvi pointed out, has become a joke. Brands don't want to be associated with you.
Yeah.
There was this running gag that as long as Daraz is there with Bangladesh, they're not going to perform well because Daraz is a negative company. Daraz left in a way that they had a negative association. Sorry, they had a negative reputation associated to them just because they were associated, affiliated with Bangladesh
With
cricket.
Bangladesh cricket. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
ended the other way around.
Daras didn't want anything to do with Bangladesh
There you
cricket
go.
because it just became a, like we talked about, kada chora chori. Everyone's just going after each other. Um, they're just trying to make an issue out of nothing, and all these things. And once you, honestly, if you're running a company yourself, you wouldn't want to be a part of anything like that because now your brand value is coming down because you're associated with something that's pretty much become a worldwide meme at that point.
This should show the team and the management how low they are in terms of performances. That the women's team is getting high profile
Yeah.
contract, whereas the men's team is looking for local sponsors and still failing to get good names.
They don't care, Shagor. They just don't care anymore. Their pockets are heavy as is. They
They're
genuinely
ignorant,
don't
right?
care.
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Ignorance is bliss for them. I
No,
think
it's
we're
it's
gonna
not
have to go.
ignorance. It's the cricket board being ignored by the sponsors.
So
And they don't want to care. They don't want to care. If they, because
any chance for newcomer playing the next test?
what,
Hassan Mahmood?
Hassan
Yeah.
Mahmood.
I hope not, honestly.
I don't see it happening.
Who would you drop?
Why? Who would you play him in
Please don't drop
instead of?
Nahid Rana. We need Nahid Rana to be playing for the next 10 years at least, bare minimum.
I missed something. Did Mushfiq get injured somewhere during the practice? Mushfiq
Yeah.
Hassan.
Oh, yeah. Not sure when he got injured, but he did get injured apparently.
Who? Mushfiq Hassan is injured.
Mushfiq
Yeah,
Hassan.
yeah.
That's why they replaced him with Hassan
Yeah,
Mahmood.
that's why he was replaced.
He got injured from doing nothing.
Practice maybe throwdowns. He was giving throwdowns
Throwdowns on the cement.
on the cement to Liton Dash and Liton hit one back.
Yeah.
Little gave him a return catch.
The drinks were too heavy for him. Anyways,
What do you think the surface
Wait,
will
I
be?
thought Little was fasting. What? What drinks?
Alvi making some random joke.
Random jokes.
Very random joke.
Rakimul, what do you think the pitch is gonna be like in Chattogram after the dubbing in the green Sylhet track?
All right, it might be a
Mr.
rank turner.
Mr.
It
Might
won't
be
be
a
rank
rank
turner.
turner.
It will be the flattest wicket we have ever seen.
So
Eh, Whatever
Not
grass
better.
they're gonna see now, they're gonna cut it all off by the time.
I mean,
the
this is
match
gonna
is
score a 300. I'm telling you, if that's the case.
Come into and is
I
300.
don't
No, I
even
think-
dare to make a rank turner with Prabhat Jayasuriya on the other end. I genuinely don't see it.
But look, if they do make a rank turner, who does Sri Lanka have? Let's say they've got
Sri Lanka
the guy who looks
quality
like
fitness apart from Prabhat,
the guy
to
who
be
looks
honest.
like
Like, they have had
Prabhat, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
then
have had more better options previously.
who does Sri Lanka have? Who does Sri Lanka have? They have
Anandra
Prabhat
De
Chansiri,
Silva and Prabhat.
DDS, and Prabhat. Okay. Look, if we make a rank turner, we've got Taijul, we've got Shakib, and we've got the rank turner specialist Miraj. I honestly think, if we make a rank turner, who cares? Bring in Naim Hassan for Khalid, and then play with four spinners. Take it to
Yeah,
them. Not what
yeah.
I want to see from Bangladesh, but to save the series, they might.
It is difficult, however, to make rank turners in Chattogram, though. That is another
Exactly. There
issue.
you go. Move to Mirpur.
Had it even been Sylhet again, we would have had a chance, but no.
You guys hear what Atar Ali Khan was trying to do there? Well, that second innings was coming to a close. So Russell Arnold asked him, "If I put you in the hot seat, Atar, what would you do with that wicket at Chittagong?"
Yeah,
So,
I heard that.
so this
He
guy
has
starts
to
being all
something for the spinners. Day three,
something but the spinners.
it has
Day
to be.
three spinners should be coming
See,
into play.
I'm not saying it will be breaking up on day one, but it
Yeah,
has to turn from
it
day
has
three
to turn.
onwards.
Yeah, like
Look,
like
that's the mentality we have in Bangladesh. Unfortunately,
like
we can't do anything about it.
like how pathetic is that, guys? Like honestly, because the only way you think you can win is you give Miraj the biggest ranked turner in this world because he can't bowl on anything else, and you hope that because Shakib is back now and Shakib will take wicket on whatever wicket it is on this planet. So you have that, and then you have Miraj come on and start turning a delivery after he's not turned a delivery for 6 months, and obviously all of a sudden you
Just
I'd
to correlate this.
I'd rather listen to Shamim, Chaudhary say Prema Kumar and Russell, and then enough control yourself, as opposed to listen to Athar Ali go on about how we should have a rank turner for Miraj at the Chittagong Test.
Honestly,
Just
maybe a hot take, but that whole Prema Kumaran thing, it was done in good jest, and it was done at a time when the game was getting a little boring.
It was slow. Yeah, exactly.
Little
Yeah.
slow. I don't want to say boring, that's the word. It was getting a little
yeah.
slow, a
you know,
little one
to
sided.
correlate the mentality of the Bangladesh cricket board at this time. When Bangladesh women played against India women last year, the
Mhm.
pitches were decent. It was batting
Yeah,
friendly ODIs.
yeah.
So we had a good competition. I think one of the games was tied, and the series was tied as well. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
But now we are facing Australia for the first time ever. Australia women, and we have this thinking. Oh, we will never be able to beat them on good tracks. So what do? We produce a dhanket, also known as Mirpur
But
pitch.
Mirpur.
And then
Also,
what happens?
and the best part is the third ODI starting soon.
No,
But
no,
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 third
the
ODI,
third
third
ODI
is
started
almost
already.
over.
It's
we
done. It's
lost
done.
already.
Like, but they played the Independence Day match
On the
on the
yesterday
same
same
The
pitch,
on
same
the
ground.
same
same pitch,
field, like
same.
instant,
No, no,
instant.
yeah,
not the same
Same
pitch,
pitch.
not the same
Same
pitch.
ground.
but
Just
on the same
two
ground.
one two pitches over or
How,
something.
Yeah,
how,
the same
how much
square
are you going to
anyways.
shield that pitch from people running over
Exactly.
it?
And then the result you can see. We scored what 80 odd, I think.
Is yeah,
All out.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk in detail about the whole Bangladesh Australia series. Just going to touch on this comment for a bit. Guys, talk about the failed man cat.
We made himself look stupid, man. He should have.
So
This
the failed
that profile
Mancat got
picture.
featured
That
on Fox Sports Australia as well for the worst Mancat attempt ever.
yeah.
Worst Mankad ever,
That
worst
profile
shot ever.
picture. This profile picture is the best depiction of what Khalid thought he was gonna be,
After
and
taking
did not happen.
Also, guys, it's a very weird bit of detail that you're forgetting. Khalid is technically the first Bangladeshi bowler who also successfully completed a man cat, but it was reversed by, I think it was Liton Das at
Oh,
the time.
little dust when he man
No,
catch.
that was Hassan.
No, that was
No,
Hassan Mahmood.
Hassan Mahmood,
That
sorry,
was
that was
Hassan.
Hassan Mahmood. I
Yes,
mixed
sir.
it up because that was Khaled's ODI series debut and whatnot, so I mixed it up. Sorry.
Rahimul mixing up with Alvi too often, is showing signs.
These are the clear
I'll
signs.
be catching strays for no reason.
Trying to
It's
correlate stuff which don't exist.
But again, we have to now talk about the Bangladesh Australia series. I mean, we were so
Let's not
looking
talk about
forward
it.
to it.
No,
We
this is
genuinely
Shagor's
wanted
specialty.
something to
I'll
happen.
see you guys later. I have to go.
Okay, bye. Bye, Alvin.
Good luck.
Um, Yeah, Sagar. Yeah, you start off, and then I'll chip in because I mean,
I was optimistic about this series because it's such a big opportunity for our women cricketers, and then also the way they were saying that they're going to be playing against their idols, which is true. All established, most of them established in the international arena. Ellis Perry, Elisa Healy, big names. But then we produce a pitch, not a pitch, we produce three pitches which are equally as bad. That, there's no way a team can score over 150 on this pitch.
yeah,
Australia, being the world champions, somehow, some way, they managed to score 213, I think, in the first ODI. That also after a 30 run over from Alana King in
yeah,
the last over.
yeah.
So I don't know what message we were trying to send either to the Australian team or to ourselves, because even we cannot bet on this pitch. It would have been a good series if it was a decent track like the ones we had against India women, where we
Yeah.
could actually see the quality of our batters
Yeah.
against the Australian bowlers,
Yeah,
and also the quality of our bowlers against
against
the
us.
top quality batsmen. Like actually, the skill set would have been shown, exposed to the world, right? Everyone was watching. Like Australia women is a big thing. But then what we do, we create a rank turners, ball keeping low from like first over. None of the teams can display their skills there.
And
So it
and
was
you talk
really
about
embarrassing.
and you talk about the like these guys are talking about the whole magnitude of it and Australia's coming and this that and we're finally hosting them at home and this is what you serve up to them.
Yeah. After this, I don't think Australia will come for the next 10 years.
I don't think
Oh,
Bangladesh women's team will want to play on that pitch ever again. Forget Australia coming again. Like,
exactly. Like
and this is ridiculous because that team, it's so disrespectful. This is the very same team that beat South Africa in South Africa.
yes.
And you're
Yeah.
Yeah,
sending this message. South
exactly.
Africa is a very good team, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is the message that
So
you're sending. That you think that they
it's
can't
a
win. On
disgrace.
absolutely ridiculous stuff. And do they not? I don't think the management genuinely understands how women's cricket work because frankly, anyone who's seen them play know that the pitch behaves, the way the pitch behaves is
Yeah.
taken very differently in that game, in a sense that the pacers come into play just as much on those wickets. You're not having someone like Stark bowling at 140, someone like Hazelwood bowling at
No.
135, Cummins
No.
bowling at 145. No, these are not the pacers playing for Australia.
Yeah.
Their pacers can very easily adopt on those slowish wickets. They
Yeah.
can bowl at 110, 100, and none of our batters will pick them. None of them.
No.
All
Today,
their
the
deliveries
top
will
five
come.
wickets were picked by the Australian pacers, Ellis Perry
Exactly.
and Darcy Brown, I think. Tim Garth. Yeah.
Yeah.
At is an expert in these sort of wickets. We've seen that
Yeah.
before. We've even seen that recently in the WPL. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. There's nothing to say.
We
Again,
think we're too smart. That's what it is. They just think,
absolutely
oh,
frustrating.
And even if they created this, poor, what do you think? What do you call it? I don't know, like bad pitch spinning track. They should have known that Australia are far superior in skill levels than us, right? So they'll be able to adapt better in these pitches. So how
and,
are we going to win
and
this?
this is not just in women's cricket. In men's cricket, whenever we've produced the worst of the worst tracks,
We
it
lost,
backfired on us.
It
right?
only worked in two T20I series, and that's it.
But what was the outcome?
What was the outcome?
In a
Exactly.
horrible World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And Australia winning the World Cup after that.
Yeah. Meaningless series
Icing,
wins.
icing on the cake. Yeah. Icing on the cake.
JaaTaa, proper JaaTaa stuff. So,
Yeah.
enough JaaTaa stuff right now. Let's talk about some good quality cricket that we've seen at the IPL. We don't want to get too much into it because early days and we don't want to nitpick or anything, but Virat
Yeah.
Kohli back at top. Let's talk about that first. Virat Kohli back at the top. And, that little interview he gave to Harsha
Bro,
Bhogle.
I'm telling you, that interview was needed. World cricket needed that interview. Because when he came out with that interview and he kind of just told everyone that I still mean business in a way. Uh, because there were talks about, oh, Virat Kohli is not going to score runs on the slow tracks in What's that place called? USA and West Indies. Virat Kohli scored runs everywhere in the world. You think Virat Kohli is gonna have a problem scoring runs in West Indies and USA of all places?
And these are the same guys who think Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav will score on those slow wickets.
When
Sorry,
Ishan
what?
Kishan is getting out for a duck, first game of the IPL. But nah, so,
Yeah, there will be
honestly,
to them.
Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to open for India at the T20 World Cup, please and thank you.
India have not utilized Virat Kohli, the opener, enough in T20 cricket. However, you can also make the counter argument that Virat Kohli, the number three batter in T20 eyes, has been a complete beast, especially in World T20s.
Yeah.
Do you let go of that?
I think now you can because you have Yashasvi Jaiswal.
But wouldn't Jaiswal be better suited at number two?
Two or
You
three.
can risk it. You can risk it.
Number
You
two or
can say
Two for
that
Jaiswal.
you can say
Two
that
for
you give
Jaiswal. Yeah. Or one.
Rohit and Kohli the opening role. If one of them get out, you still have Jaiswal to back it up. But if they get off and both of them come off on the same day, you're looking at 220 plus easily. And Jaiswal, as we have seen, he's got the power game now to come in and go from ball one. So
But I think they want like a ballistic
left right,
start at the top. No, left right, but also ballistic start at the top. Like both Jaiswal and Rohit Sharma know only one gear, right? But then if one of them falls, Kohli
yeah,
comes in. He can adjust to the situation. He can either go for it if they have batted 15 overs, or
yeah,
he can anchor the innings if they got out early and they have guys like Surya Kumar Yadav coming in later on.
Exactly, because T20I Kohli is very different from IPL Kohli, and in
yeah,
some ways, T20I Kohli has been more successful, and for that very reason, because he can set the tempo according to the situation. IPL Kohli always has this thing on his mind that he has to score
Pressure.
from ball one because he
yeah.
knows that his bowlers are not going to back him up. He has to get that 220 to a 240 or that 200 to a 220 always. Anyways, our boy, I wish Ali was
Our
here for
boy,
this discussion.
Boy,
Our
our
boy with the
boy.
purple cap.
Yeah, good to see. Honestly, I would say I'm pretty angry about the fact that he literally walks up to IPL and starts performing every time. And when he puts on the national team jersey, he's bowling down leg, bowling five wides, and this, that. And, you know, I think Mustafizur has a decision to make, I would say, over the next year or so. Does he want to become a T20 tournaments merchant, gun for hire, or does he want to play international cricket? And I don't have a problem if he thinks that he wants to just become a gun for hire, play everywhere, this, that. By all means, man, go make your living. But what we don't want is, and this is not us talking out of emotion or of small sample sizes. Mustafizur in international cricket has been below par. Yes, Chepauk has a good stadium that helps him. The surface, not the stadium, sorry, the surface that helps him.
Even the
So
stadium, if you think about it, is
yeah,
the side boundaries are
south
longer than
boundaries
the
are
average
exactly. Yeah,
stadium in Sylhet, for
yeah,
example.
yeah. So it will be interesting to see how he fares on different tracks across India throughout the tournament. If BCB let him play. Um, so yeah, all of that taken into account, I would say honestly, you don't want him taking up a spot in international cricket if he's not really feeling it. And I would be more than happy if he wanted to become a merchant and just be gun for hire, make your living fine. Just you know, we don't want to see half-assed performances in international cricket, which ends up hurting the international team because end of the day, everyone wants to play for the country. And if some guys come in and it's not like he went for 40 runs one game. He went for 40 runs every game in the series, in the last series. And he did not look like he was going to take a wicket anyway. So it's just little things like that that I think can make a difference in his career at least.
Shagor, is there still any benefit of bringing him back for the Zimbabwe series, given that
Yeah, I was
each
about to
year?
ask, is he coming back for the Zimbabwe series?
So basically, CSK has apparently requested BCB to extend his NOC and just allow him to play the entire season, or at
Yeah,
least allow him to be available
I
until the
think
end
he
of
would
the
be
group stage.
better suited for the national team to stay at the IPL, because
100%.
you'll get ball at better batsmen and on better pitches. To be honest, I'm not sure what kind of pitches BCB will serve Zimbabweans, but either ways,
Hmm.
no offense to Zimbabwe, but I think the mixture of batsmen that he's going to face in the IPL would serve him better for the World Cup.
And also, if he is going to be a gun for hire, his incentive to perform at the World Cup is going to be significantly higher than any bilateral series, because we've seen that the
Yes.
like
Yeah.
IPL genuinely do not care about other bilateral series here and there, whatever
Yeah.
he's doing. Sri
Yeah.
Lanka are a significantly better team than Zimbabwe, and they didn't care about the Sri Lanka series. They absolutely did not care. I know that was after the auction, but you know what I mean. Within the
Yeah.
context of the selection
Yeah.
into the playing 11 and whatnot, they absolutely did not care.
Yeah.
And that is what's going to happen with every other league. They see him performing at the IPL, they're going to easily go for him. No problems, no questions asked.
Surprising for you guys that he was straight away in the 11 for CSK in the first
No
game.
surprise because Patirana was unavailable.
Yeah.
I was asking my roommate before the IPL started, just before it started, after his horrid performances at home, and he's like, if he's gonna be the second choice backup for CSK, it's second choice backup.
Making him
So
third choice essentially.
yeah,
No, but that's the thing. In terms of overseas pacers, they basically just have two, Patirana and Fizz, and they're both a bit, in a weird way, they're both a bit gimmicky. And I thought they would be interchanged, but in the last game we saw that they were played together.
Patirana was bowling quick
He was
yesterday.
going really quick. Again, I say gimmicky, not in the sense that they bowl at the same pace or the same line and length, but
Yeah.
that's what makes him gimmicky. Like in Fizz, he's not bowling a single wide. He is keeping to his line and length very strictly, which
Funny, eh? Funny how
you
that
don't see
works.
it.
how did CSK play four pacers on a chip-up track?
That's a good question. Again, they do that because they have a fast
They have
spinner,
also the impact players rule.
impact player rule,
Fast spinner.
fast spinner. Yeah, but if you think about it, the player that they subbed out,
Yeah.
Shivam Dubey, is also a good medium pacer.
Yeah.
So they technically actually subbed out a medium pacer and still managed to play so many pacers in general. They can do that. So Dhoni, he's got all sorts of ideas. Rituraj, he looked good. Rituraj as captain, he genuinely
Yeah.
looked
He did.
good. He
He
let
did.
Dhoni take over whenever Dhoni wanted to take over, and I think that's how it's going to work. That's why they let you know Dhoni not be captain in his last season, just so that they can prepare Rituraj for 2025 and
Is
beyond.
it? Is it his
Yeah.
last season?
It is. It's almost not. That is exactly why the final is at Chipok, because Dhoni mentioned that he wants to play his last competitive game at Chipok.
But for that, they have to reach the final first.
It's done
CSK
already, my
is
man.
Man,
Done already.
bro, where do you
CSK.
live?
Where do you
Where
live,
do
man?
you
It is
live?
done already.
CSK
We're
always go
sitting
to
right
the
here, right
final.
now. It's done. It's been written already.
It's written in the stars, bro. It's written in the stars. But honestly, Shariful Islam for the IPL.
Let's not bother. Like, look, as as promising as a talent Shariful is, Bangladeshi players don't necessarily fare well in these
Yeah,
tournaments. So
yeah.
let's not.
But then again, I was talking to a fellow umpire of mine last week when we are doing our game. He's from India, so I was asking him about the choices of Luke Wood and the other pacer, who are not even established in their own domestic circuit, let alone
Yeah.
their international circuit, and players like Shoriful missing out. And he completely agreed. Like, according to quality, Shoriful should have been taken, but for some unknown reasons that you can only hypothesize, they have taken Luke Wood.
But I'll
And
tell you, I'll tell you a good reason. Shoriful wouldn't get the NOC for the Test series, which Fizz would get, right? Which even Taskin would get, for that matter. Fizz wouldn't get. Sorry, Shoriful wouldn't get that. He
Yeah.
wouldn't get it for the Zimbabwe series either. If
Yeah.
he's not available at the start of the tournament and at the middle of the tournament, what are you getting him for?
yeah, NOC might be an issue.
Luke Wood, someone like Luke Wood, he's going to be available like for if you have a 2 month tournament, he's going to be available for 4 months.
Yeah.
There's no problem with him.
And
He is God.
end of the day, it also depends who's playing in those teams and who's referring who into the tournament. And
Mm.
that plays
Reference
a
everywhere.
reference everywhere, man.
Everywhere, everywhere.
That's how it runs.
Kolkata, when the KKR setup had a very strong Bengal base,
Mhm.
you used to hear that they always would refer one Bangladeshi player or other, just to
Yes.
even if it's just to get the fan base involved.
Yeah.
Rofik was strongly referred in the first season. A lot happened, and due to his ICL issue and the whole thing, he just didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Mashrafi in the second season, we know how that turned out. Shakib from 2011 onwards, and again, we know how that turned out. Very positive, of
Hmm,
course.
hmm, hmm.
So that's about it. Then it came down to Liton even in 2021. So yeah, sorry, 2022.
And that did not go well.
That did not go well.
So
2022, 2023, he gets one game. Ah, so terrible, absolutely terrible.
Mr.
Anyway, so
Touch the ball.
that's how it is. And another good example of that is Sri Lanka not being the formidable force that they once were, still getting two pacers in for the Mumbai squad, both of them going over 4 crore, just because uh, someone like Latif Malinga is interested. On the other hand, you have Rajasthan Royals, where Kumar Sangakkara is possibly also interested in these pacers, and he's bidding for them as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
you have these references.
What do you guys think of Shubman Gill's captaincy?
Not bad. I liked it the other day against Mumbai. He held his nerve really well because they were under the pump in those last 2 overs, and bowling Umesh Yadav in a last over is
Against
always
Hardik Pandya,
is risky, very risky, but it worked out for them. Uh, so yeah, like Rakimu said, we're still early doors in the tournament, and this is a long ass tournament. I couldn't even understand when Ravi Shastri said the World Cup starts 5 days after this tournament. And at first, I was like, "What are you saying?"
The players are going to be burnt out just from this IPL.
Of course.
bro, it's so much fun whenever there is an IPL immediately after an ICC tournament, and it's just horrible when it's the other way around. You think 2014, you think 2015, you think 2016. These were some of the best IPLs,
Best
by
that.
the way.
Yeah, yeah,
And the ICC tournaments were amazing as well.
yeah.
Who's gonna tell them?
They're not ready for that conversation.
Nope. Because God forbid any of the players playing the World Cup get injured during the IPL. Oh no, IPL cannot
no.
afford to have that.
Yes,
The World Cup
sir.
can afford to have a few injuries. That's fine.
No, no, that's fine, but cannot have IPL getting hurt by players not being available. That's impossible.
We see that with FIFA all the time, and now we see it over here as well.
Yeah.
This cricket is turning into FIFA soon.
And not in a good way.
No, no.
Like I can honestly say that even as a football fan, there are times when I do enjoy the Champions League more than I enjoy the World Cup. There are times like that. And that's not me just because I'm not saying that just because I'm a Brazil fan. I'm saying
Yeah.
that objectively.
Yeah.
I don't think there will ever be a moment like that in cricket. I genuinely don't see it. Anyways, again, just to come back to the topic of IPL, that whole issue of Hardik Pandya asking Rohit to change his fielding position and then everyone getting riled up about it.
This is the first time I've seen people get mad about someone asking someone to go field somewhere else, honestly.
Captain asking the
Right.
ex-captain.
More like a meme worthy, right? Bro, it's just like me. You're asking me to move?
You're asking me to move? Oh, and then people making videos where him and Bumrah are talking about Hardik or something like that.
And Hardik is trying to poach Gill.
This is watch this space. This might end badly for Mumbai Indians.
Or I have a different take.
Mm.
What Mumbai Indians are doing, it might end badly for the IPL. And no one in India can tell the Mumbai Indians think tank or whoever is involved with the
Wait,
franchise that you're
can you
doing
guys
something
give me some clarity about what you guys are actually talking about?
you're asking what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
It's not good when a franchise has more
Yeah.
power than the entire league.
Entire
No,
basically
no,
the
yeah.
entity
But
does not have as much power as the franchise.
yeah, yeah. But you're saying about Boomerang and stuff. So what's
No,
up
no,
with
no.
that?
There was this
No.
meme. Rohit was talking separately to Bumrah, and I think it was Sky there as well.
Yeah.
And we know that those two were not happy with the whole Hardik Pandya
Oh,
captain
okay.
decision. They publicly posted it on Instagram and
Yeah.
everything.
If
But
Alvi was here, he would have said like Abahan is influencing the DPL.
no, no, no. But if you think about it, the more you think about it, the more the DPL is going to start to align with the IPL. We can talk about the DPL in this interesting segue as well. That
Yeah.
how the DPL currently has basically four solid teams, three
Yeah.
or two of which are on a level of their own. We
Yeah.
see that in the IPL as well. It's
Yeah.
always this, Mumbai, Chennai are on a level of their own, and you have some other teams competing in a similar space.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you can, like, here's the thing. When Hardik Pandya essentially got taken out of Gujarat Titans by this large sum of money, which included undisclosed amount, when you're not supposed to surpass the salary cap, they've already broken a lot of rules around it. But why can no one do anything? It's the Ambanis, it's Mumbai Indians. Very similar situation. How Tohid Hridoy got brought from Sylhet Strikers to Kumilla Victorians, or how Tohid Hridoy magically ended up in playing for Abu Hani this year. These are the situations that will start to come up in IPL, because if this if I'm running a franchise and Rakimul does this to me, I'm thinking 2 seasons from now, Rakimul has a player that he's investing a lot in, and he's probably gonna take over from one of his current core members. I'm gonna be like, I have the money to spend on this guy. I'm gonna take him. Now it's become, and then you come in, Shagor, with your franchise, and you're thinking, this guy's looking at that player. He's thinking about keeping that player. I'm gonna swoop in the middle and take that guy, and and it's gonna become like, you know how the N. I don't know how much you guys followed the NBA or stuff, but the Golden State Warriors became a super team at one stage, and at that point the NBA had to step in, and they're like, all right, we're not doing this stuff anymore. Like, this is like Mumbai Indians, Gujarat Titans, Delhi Capitals, or whatever other franchise. I'm just throwing names out there. You start making super teams, all of a sudden everyone else is gonna get pissed off. Right now, look at the quality of the DPL. It's every year for the last 3 to 4 years. The final is Abani versus Prem Bank. Prantik Noros Nabil was with Prime Bank. Second highest run scorer, third highest run scorer last year. All of a sudden playing for Mohammedan this year. If you can, and before, I remember when I was growing up as a kid, all DPL transfers were publicly announced. You you open Daily Star or Portomalo, go to the back page, all DPL transfers given.
It
Every
was a
player.
big deal. It was
It was a
genuinely a
big
big
deal.
deal.
Now everything happens under the radar.
Everything happens under the
Everything happens under the radar.
table
Yeah.
transactions.
All are under the table
And
transactions.
it's not subtle. You can see it on the field.
Yeah, yeah,
Certain transactions, you can see that they shouldn't be happening, but they're happening. You can see it.
yeah. And think about Fortune Borishal for this year. 3 4 guys decided to make their own team, super team. And you can see the distinction on the field. We're not stupid.
And they're literally even making an advertisement campaign based
Yeah,
on that.
yeah, based on that. Oh, we just won a tournament. Here's this. Oh, you're gonna.
You're going to have a separate team of your own. Like, man, wake up. The three of you have always had separate teams of.
Teams.
Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going on?
yeah.
What are you on about?
So are you
and
guys
and and,
anticipating
and they've brought along the +1.
That
Virat?
guy again. That guy had his separate team as well. There was a time when all four of them
Yeah,
were in four
when,
separate teams, and
yeah,
all four of those teams were evenly distributed.
Kunta, Rajshahi, Miraj.
Rajshahi Miraj.
Rajshahi Miraj, Tamim was
That's why
Kumilla.
Rakibul is,
No,
triggered.
no, no. It's random. It could have been Rangpur for all I care. It just happened to be four separate teams.
Do you guys anticipate more undisclosed amount deals in the IPL?
100%. Who's stopping them?
No one's stopping it. If I can buy you from another team for an undisclosed amount, that's not stopping Rakimul from buying someone else for an undisclosed amount. Because now you can't tell someone else to stop because it happened once already.
And the most ironic part is Mumbai Indians were at their best when they were producing raw talent out of nowhere.
Mm,
When their scouts
mm,
were getting in these Pandya
yes.
brothers, Boomras, seemingly out of nowhere, when no one was expecting it.
Jensens were coming out. Yeah, it's
Now
just
they've taken Mafaka.
Again, Mafaka is more of a proven player in the sense that when he performs at the under
every
19, everyone's eyes are on him.
everyone's yeah
Same with Brevis. Like
yeah.
it's understandable where they're getting those talents from, but the Pandya brothers, the Boomras, they're the ones who won them the tournament, right? They didn't have to
Aditya
go
Tare Aditya Tare became this big thing. Well,
with
after
one shot.
slaving so many years, one shot, right? One shot, one big thing thrown out there. Go hit a six last ball for me. Becomes this big thing. Dhawal Kulkarni played for Mumbai Indians for years and years and years, maybe one or two games a season, but everyone knew about it.
You know, Fardin, I'm calling it right now something weird like that. See, if Aditya Tare's situation came in
Yeah,
2024,
yeah,
they would find a way. I am telling you, before the
yeah.
match, they would find a way to make Kyron Pollard, the batting
The
coach, an
batting.
impact sub, and they
Yeah,
would send him out there for that
yeah,
last.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone would be fucking pissed because
Yes.
the opponents would be complaining. Their owners would probably be at the boundary. Their coach, no, not owners, sorry,
Yeah,
their
coach.
owners don't show up,
Yeah,
unlike a certain other team.
yeah,
Like, the coaching staff, the management, they'll be at the boundary.
yeah,
They'll be yelling. They'll be complaining.
yeah,
You know how dirty that's gonna be.
yeah. Absolutely. Straight on, bang on.
Did you guys talk about your predictions for the winners here?
We did. We said Chennai are winning, or at least playing the final.
At least
Unanimous.
it's Dhoni's last season, man. Come on.
Are you saying it's all scripted?
It's the IPL. We are not.
Weirdly enough, I'll say that if Hardik Pandya was captaining India in the T20 World Cup, which was supposed to happen, had that been happening, Mumbai would have won. I think Mumbai will play the final and they might lose or something like that. Yeah.
So Kohli, no balance of power.
What world are you in, man?
No, I just want
Brother, we
You
are in
want balance and
2020.
power? Elise Perry's done it. She's won them.
being
You
an
have-
RCB fan.
That's enough.
I just wanted to see the loyal Kohli, the RCB Kohli, win some trophy.
It might happen, but it's not happen. It might happen another year, but it's not happening this year.
We
It
say loyal
never-
Kohli, and I'm not questioning his loyalty, but it's also true that they invested in Kohli in a way that no one else would have at the time. In the first 3 seasons, Kohli gave them nothing, by the way,
Nothing.
and they still stuck to him.
Yeah. Ray Jennings said, we're gonna make the team again around you. He said, I want to bat at number 3. That's it. You trust a guy who hasn't given you for 3 years anything on a verbal contract that I'll give it to you, man.
And you make him
some-
vice captain when he's 22 at the time, or
Yeah.
22, 21.
Yeah. Straight 3 years out of 4 years out of under 19 World Cup. So
That's a positive of RCB, but we can talk about their negatives all day on how they missed so many opportunities on investing in good bowlers. But that's a discussion for another day. This season, their bowling doesn't look all that bad, and they might get something out of it. Who knows?
oh. One question for you guys. Rakimul, I think you've heard it. Murali Kartik's comment about Yash Dayal.
Oh man! I was just seeing a Reddit post on it because some people are fighting over it now, saying that
Thoughts.
What
their
happened?
site was overreacting and whatnot. But yeah,
So Murali Kartik said, you know how Yash Dayal was part of
Gujarat
Gujarat
Titans.
Titans, and he got hit for 30 runs by
Rinku Singh.
Rinku Singh, and then he basically had a breakdown because of it. and he was out for most of the season after that. And then he came back towards the end. BCCI is kind of making up for it by giving him a fast bowling contract now, trying to keep him in the loop and stuff, build up his confidence. He's not a bad bowler by any means, actually. He
It
just
was
had,
said that he didn't eat anything. He just
yeah,
drank water and he didn't eat anything for a few days, and then he needed saline or something. I think
yeah,
it was
yeah.
that bad.
So it's just he had one bad day and it just got to him, obviously. Murali Karthik said. So Gujarat Titans traded him to RCB this year. And Murali Karthik in the comeback said, one team's trash is another team's treasure.
That's even lower than Shamim and Athar combined.
No, but some people were coming to his defense and saying that it's a very common metaphor, and within the context of IPL, someone can make sense out of it. Like Gujarat Titans wouldn't have space for him in their first 11 or even first 15 for that matter. But
Yeah. You
RCB
think,
clearly,
But he could have used some other metaphor. This particular
absolutely.
metaphor sounds,
Murali
especially.
Karthik has been criticized as a commentator all his commentary career, and yet he keeps getting promoted again and again by BCCI. I don't know why.
Yeah. So, are you anticipating Yasdale to be on a saline diet once again after hearing this comment?
No, no, he has a point to prove. He's had two good opening spells already. I
yeah.
think he'll just
Yeah, he
continue.
looked good.
And from next season, I hope that because certain wicketkeeper batter is retiring this season, I hope that we see a different Karthik in the commentary box from next season.
Yes, sir. Anuj Rawat is good, though.
Anuj Rawat looks really good.
Anuj
He was
Rawat looks
he
good.
was trolled as Gurgaon's Gilchrist,
Yeah.
but he's starting to look
Why?
good because he is from Gurgaon and they do affectionately call him that. And then his performances didn't back that name in the last couple of seasons, but
Interesting.
now he's starting to look good.
Yeah.
Man, Karthik coming in clutch still now. Dinesh Karthik.
Bro, it's a World Cup year.
With the World
It's
Cup
a,
around the corner.
it's a World Cup year. Dinesh Karthik is alive. You cannot
He said
Final,
he's
forget.
final,
retiring.
final hurrah.
He's retiring, he said, right? After this season.
He said
Yeah.
he's retiring from the IPL after this season. He didn't specify about international cricket.
Crazy.
What's it with these Indian wicketkeeper batters and not retiring?
Ah,
I think.
don't get us started.
Thank you, Parthiv Patel, by the way. Parthiv Patel is such a composed man, though. Like, because we criticize Murali Karthik, I just want to praise the other person, Parthiv
Yeah.
Patel. Retired before he had to. I think he still had a couple of seasons of cricket left in him.
Yeah.
And then he goes into commentary and he's so composed and so calm and actually
Actually,
very
yeah.
it's good to hear. Anyways, boys, thank you very much. I know there's a lot more to say about the IPL. Hopefully, we will next week. It's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
late here in Toronto.
Oh, man. Super duper.
Karthik has
No,
work
but thank
tomorrow.
you. I do. I mean, it is what it is. Ramadan schedule. But boys, yeah, I mean, 2 more nights till Bangladesh get wrapped up again by Sri Lanka. But till then, yeah, we'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay. See ya.